Hello, good day, good vibes, good times. Welcome back to 10 Minutes of Astrology. My name is Shay. Today we are going to be talking about Mars in Taurus in 2030 from about April to May. Let's get started. Press the buttons. Thank you. Okay, we have a conjunction. Now, there aren't things that I'm going to discuss from 0 to 11 degrees because there are other alignments that are happening simultaneously with planets, asteroids, things that I don't discuss here. Check my notes in the comments for more information. Where I'm going to start today is this 11 degrees. I believe it is also the thumbnail. Now, Chiron, Neptune, and Pluto all hang out together between 11 and 12 degrees during this time, not hanging out in the same signs, just hanging out at the same degrees. So if you have things at those degrees during this time, look at what planets they are and how all of this will affect you. Now, Mars conjuncts Chiron and Taurus. It semi-sextiles Neptune and Aries. It squares Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius squares Chiron, sextiles Neptune, and Chiron and Neptune semi-sextile. Well, what does all of that mean? Well, let's start with Mars. Mars is action. In Taurus, it's action in the home where you're comfortable. Again, Taurus is the creature comforts. It's the immovability. It is stability. Very so stable you can't move it. It's not going nowhere. Movable. You will learn. So that's where Mars is sitting. That's also where Chiron is sitting. Chiron is about healing in others that which you can't heal in yourself. In Taurus, it's in the home. It's with your comforts. It's what you're comfortable with. It's getting out of your comfort zone. It's telling other people that, you need to get out of your comfort zone while you yourself aren't able to. Neptune is spiritual and etherealism. Aries is strong-willed. It is aggressive, straightforward, cut to the chase, get to the point. Pluto is sex, death, reincarnation, and transformation. And Aquarius, it's about society. It's friend groups. It's your broader worldview of life. Now, all of these are going to be doing different things at 11 and 12 degrees, as I just stated. So here's my take on it. Mars and Chiron coming together is good actions. I usually consider conjunctions good things because it means you're on the same page. It means they're at the same place at the same time in the same sign. So I view that as a good thing for the action in your home and for your comforts and for your healing. The semi-sextile to Neptune, I also view as a good thing because semi-sextiles are where we learn and teach. Mars is teaching Neptune, you have to act for the home in order to better be for the spirit. So in the Bible, and I know astrology is like taboo for a lot of Christians, but I'm not a Christian, so, whatever. But Mars is teaching you need to act for your family, for your values, for what you have in order to be for the greater power. So in the Bible, it talks about how a clean home and a clean space is good for your spirituality. So you can have a clean soul in order to have that better connection with the almighty power, whatever you want to call it. And this is good for that moment because it's teaching Neptune, we got to do something about our space, about our living circumstances, about our conditions. And you have to learn, the Neptune has to learn that in order to better your spirit, we need to do this. And the spirit, your ethereal self, needs to learn that you can't always rely on God, unfortunately. And, I think even in the Bible somewhere, please correct me if I'm wrong and put Bible verses in the comments, that God helps those who help themselves. So this is that moment, which is good. The square to Pluto, though, is where things get sticky, because for the greater transformation of the collective, you're not being involved outside of the home and outside of these things is a detriment to the collective. And also, because there's so much societal change in the collective, it is a detriment to you and your home. So this is a really big sticking point. I don't want to say that there's going to be some sort of like enforcement or forced entry into your home of something spontaneous, because Aquarius is very erratic. And especially in Pluto, we don't know what's coming next. So this is Katie bar the door. And also, maybe you shouldn't be in home to have to bar the door. Maybe you needed to go ahead and leave and find a new home and find a new nest or whatever to build and to live in. Because we also have Saturn coming up, which is also in Taurus. It's going to make a conjunction, which is home structures. So now, between Chiron and Pluto, they are also square, which is a negative thing. And this is, again, your home and your home values and your comforts and how you're healing is also being disrupted. I believe this may have something to do with medical care system stuff. I already believe that somewhere in all of this, we're going to have more medical equipment in the home. Don't know if this has to do with some type of malfunction with that. But it's also a very big, especially because they all hang out together. So, it may be that this equipment is spying on you. Not, all of our equipment's doing that, but it may be something in those realms and with those regards. Now, Neptune and Pluto are sextile. So this big transformation for the community is fantastic for our spirit, and our spiritual awakening as a internal and external collective is great for the transformation of the world. Then we go to a semi-sextile to Uranus in Gemini at 16 degrees. And by the way, the 11 to 12 for Mars is around April 13th, 2030. The semi-sextile to Uranus. Well, Uranus is teaching Mars in this instance because Uranus is the sign after. Uranus in Gemini has been crazy chaos in all directions. It's been a lot of fun, but it's also been an upheaval of many, many things, and it's been extraordinarily erratic and crazy. So this is teaching Mars in Taurus, you have to shake things up. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You cannot just stand there. And, yes, Uranus and Gemini is the one making all of this stuff happen, but change can be positive. Now, Gemini sometimes doesn't have a direction, so you may not have direction as to what change that is and with all of this. But it's gonna get mixed up anyway. You're gonna have to be lighter on your feet and lighter with your actions, and you can't be so staunch in your position. You have to be flexible. I've been by the way, if y'all didn't know, this time that we're in is Earth people relaxation. Even some water people can benefit from all of the fire being out of the way by this point, or not all of it, but and air gets some too, but this is really a great time for Capricorns, Virgos, Tauruses to feel like they have a breath and some breathing room now. We have an opposition to Jupiter in Scorpio at 23 degrees. So oppositions are either best friends or worst enemies. It's either good or it's bad. It's where you make your free will decisions. Now, Jupiter in Scorpio, I've talked about in my Jupiter and Scorpio video, if you want to check that out. And Mars in Taurus. So these are opposite. So it's either going to be a good thing that you've kept under the radar, you've kept your mouth shut, you've just been watchful. That way you can act appropriately. Or you didn't do any of that, and now your actions of staying put have put you in a very precarious position to where you have to keep your mouth shut now, where you like took your nose off to spite your face. Like there was a moment, there was a point somewhere before this that you had an opportunity. If you squandered it, this is the consequences of not being truthful, honest, and speaking forward. If you took that opportunity, this is the moment where keeping quiet and keeping under the radar and acting with this balanced stability that you have is a good thing. So I talked about in a previous video when that moment was, if you want to go back. We have the conjunction to Saturn, which is a good thing. We're on the same page with the right things to do, with our actions, with like, we are here, we are set, not moving, and it's a good thing that to have this position, especially for earth signs. Then Mars goes into Gemini approximately May 19th, 2030. Remember, I do free readings. If you're interested, please reach out. Hashtag ShayKMB. If you want to help a girl, I have an eBay as well. Peace out, fam. Much love. I'm going to go to work now. Bye-bye.